Everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and one of my players keeps naming his horses like his mule was Don Quixote, and he's new horse is named Windmill. So there's definitely a Don Quixote theme there, and I thought it would be fun to go ahead and make a windmill for them to encounter. But a windmill is like a twist. It's actually inhabited by maybe an evil force or something. So I'm just going to take this piece of, this is a part of like a game board for a game called Wizardry or Wizardology or something like that. And it's just a nice sturdy piece. I use game board pieces for like, well, pretty much everything because they're almost free. You know, let's say you buy a game just for a couple of the pieces in it to craft with, and you got these boards that are sturdier than regular cardboard. They don't really warp. So I thought it would be nice to use this for the base of my windmill. I'm going to get a square here. Got a little bit of sand. I made an enormous amount of hills yesterday. Sometimes I make stuff without you guys just so I can still enjoy crafting and it not always be like a I don't know how to explain it. Like, I enjoy doing this YouTube channel. I do it for love. I don't do it for money. But sometimes I like to not be able to be recorded. I like to just play around and listen to music and do stuff instead of always having to be making a video. So, again, nothing against you guys. It's just, it's fun to do your own shit sometimes, you know? It's fun to just make things. So I just put out that one quick video of me painting the shaman warrior, the indigenous person. And then the rest of the day I cleaned the shop. I sorted out a 30-gallon plastic tote of miniatures and plastic toys that had been building up. And then I made myself some really cool hills. Well, they're more like mesa type looking stuff, but they have like walkways and steps and levels. It was mostly just me amusing myself. So I think this would be a good size because I don't want this windmill to be overwhelming or enormous because I have to store it. And one of the big problems I'm having is, even though I have an entire D&D room with shelves to put terrain and stuff on, what tends to happen is I run out of storage no matter what. So let's look at this and let's say that's 4.5 inches. I didn't measure it. And then that's going to be 3.5. That worked out pretty well. All right, so for getting started, we're going to need a frame, and then we're going to need planks. So for my frame, my son's had this Bakugan or Battle Arena here, and this box is that real thin, good cardboard that I like. So let's get some of that. And yes, of course, my sons are spoiled because I love them. And some people say that you shouldn't buy your kids everything they want, and I don't buy them everything they want, but I work hard and I have a little bit of money in my life now. I'm older and I want them to be able to enjoy themselves. So I'm gonna get a bigger ruler. Maybe. Where's my bigger ruler? Bigger ruler, where are you at? I found you. Come to me, bigger ruler. You're glorious and wonderful. All right, here we go. This was made in Pittsburgh, I think. I'm living outside of Pittsburgh. Pretty pleased with that. Start this way. But I'm going to try to use one of these ripples in the cardboard here, one of these corrugations, to try to find the straightest edge I can. And then I'm going to work from there. So let's do that on both sides, give ourselves 2 square sides, and then we'll do the rest from after we have a nice flat edges to work with. And I'm just eyeballing that, trying to make it as straight as possible. Then I'm going to get rid of my enormously big ruler. Thank you, Mr. Big Ruler, for your help. And let's see if we can't do something like this. Okay. we go. And that was perfect because I didn't even measure that, and it just worked out. Okay. So I want my windmill to be kind of canted inward, and I want to sit on a bottom flat box. So first let's do the bottom flat box, which I want to have at 2 inches. So to do that, I'm just going to get one of these. This ruler is 1 inch. And I don't care if it's exactly 2 inches, but I want it to be kind of 2 inches. 2 inches-ish. I'm just going to get that lined up pretty close. All right, and let's see how long this is. This is just about 12 inches long. I was going to make 4 2.5-inch sections for the base. So let's see if I can figure out how to do that. Just might know a guy. So let's come over here. That's 2 inches. I want 2.5. Actually, let's do it by 2.5 by 3. We'll make it a little bit bigger. For those of you who are new, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. For those of you who have been here, you know I just kind of don't have a plan, and I didn't even look at a picture of a windmill. So, oh, I know. Let's make it interesting. Let's make the windmill work. Let's make it actually turn. Not by real wind power, but just you can spin it with your hand for fun. Maybe we can make the windmill a puzzle. Not sure why that would make sense, but we could do it. All right, so now we have our 4 sides of our windmill. And one of the viewers made an interesting suggestion, which it's not something I don't know, but it's a good idea. If we want to square things off, we can just use wood blocks to do that. So let's see, that's about 2 inches, and those will sit right inside, and that'll make it easy to get on the base. So let's do that. Let's get, oh, I don't have my glue gun set up. All right, we'll cut more shit while the glue gun heats up, no problem. Plug, 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 plug. Happy Sunday, everybody. I'm excited. Today we're going to go see Captain America Brave New World. It's going to be nice. So let's set these off to the side, and let's make the planks we're going to need for that lower building. And we're going to need a door and stuff too, but I think I'd like to come back at the end and do the door, personally. That's my preference. Oops, there we go. That's not ideal. Let's get scissors and make this faster. We'll chop off the stuff I don't want. I don't know if anybody here has ever seen that Viva La Dirt League. But if you play D&D or video games, they're worth giving them a watch. They're pretty damn funny. All right, I cut my junk off. Whoa, whoa! I mean, no, I did not cut my junk off. I cut the excess material I don't like off. Idiot! Gosh. So let's cut this in half, and let's make our planks with it. So, in reality, a miniature is just over an inch tall. An inch is 5 foot in a 28 millimeter scale. Okay. My planks, therefore, to be 6-inch planks, would be way, way tinier than this. That's the reality of it. But what I use is something I call fantasy realism, which is it's big enough that you can see what it's supposed to be, but it's not actually to scale, and it creates a kind of theater effect where you get the idea of what's going on, even though it's not to scale. Now, if you were to build all these buildings with everything to scale, it would be so time consuming and your arthritis would be so bad in your hands that you wouldn't be able to function. And if you don't have arthritis in your hands, well, don't give up. You might someday. God, I love me some arthritis. I'm just going to continue along eyeballing these. I don't know how big they are. They're about that big. Because again, how much time do you want to spend making your windmill? Do you want to spend time making a windmill so you have something funny to put on the table to talk about with a character that's been making Don Quixote references? And maybe make a cool encounter out of it? Or make it the site of a cool encounter or something? Or do you want to spend the next 2 weeks building it, and by the time you're done, you're not happy with it, and you're like, Because let's be honest, most of the time, the more I spend on something, the less happy I am. But if I can, accept the fact that I did something as quick as I could to make it look good and get it on the table, I'm usually a lot happier with my result. And that's just the reality of it for me. All right, so we got our 2 3-inch pieces, and we got our 2 2.5-inch pieces, and we're going to put the shiny on the inside. And I'm going to think for a second here how I'm going to do that. So I want to square those up like that. So let's get the first piece on. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're kind of, well, let's put it together off of that. And then we'll put it on there, and then we know it's going to be centered. So I'm just going to get a piece of, oh, I never turned my glue gun on. Okay, we're going to cut some more shit up. Victory. All right, so for our long panels going up, if the thing is 3 inches or 2.5 inches wide, we want to start at 2.5 inches on the bottom. So what we want to do is we want to measure across here. We want to make 2 2.5-inch pieces and 2 3-inch pieces. And we'll do that simply by, I kind of got to do it that way because I'm a lefty. We'll do it simply like this. Here's what we'll do. We'll get our 2.5-inch, we'll do our 3-inch pieces first, actually. I'd feel better with that long cut if we measured it, not just eyeballed it. So, we're going to start here, 3-inch, 3-inch, 2.5-inch, 2.5-inch, that should put us at 11 inches. We're going to do the same thing on this side. 9 is 3 minus 12, 6, and then 3.5, and then it should be 1 inch, or less than 1 inch, because it's not quite 12 inches. All right, now we can do this. Feel pretty good about it. How tall is this windmill going to be? Well, man, I just don't know. It has to be storable, and even though I kind of want to make it ridiculously tall, I don't know if that's going to be a good idea. So what I'm thinking this is just a thought. Is we will cut this in, cut a point into this, and then we will, like in the middle, we'll cut those down, and then we'll cut it off, and then kind of bring them together is what I'm thinking we'll do. So let's do that. So the center of this is, and the glue gun's heating up. The center of this is going to be 1.5 inches, right? Because we knew we measured it out. And you want to get in the center because we want these to all meet up. So you don't want to just eyeball this. You want it to actually work. So then I'm going to get my straight edge. I'm going to go to that corner. I'm going to bring it over to that. And you want to catch this just on the outside of where your mark was, to where you can't see your mark anymore. And then when you make that cut, your centerpiece is still intact. Okay. You want to do the same thing over here on the side. Really excited. Took the little boys and Lady Doom to Texas Roadhouse yesterday, and my cousin works there. He's 18 years old. He's much younger than I. I am the product of an oldest child, and he is the product of a youngest child. And he is also a twin, and we are very close. We're homies. I've even thought about trying to get him into D&D. But he is probably just not going to be into it, honestly. He's a theater guy, and he plays soccer, and his whole life is about chasing women if he's smart. I mean, his whole life is about self-improvement. No, honestly, I just don't think he'd enjoy it. As much as he has a lot of the characteristics of a good role player, I don't think he would like the game. I think when he's in his mid-20s or so, if he stays in the area, it'll be likely that he'll play when he realizes how expensive life is and he's not so involved in all the things he's involved in. But I love my little cousins. I love I love 95% of my family. There are some people that I guess I love them by default, but God, I wish they would just stop whatever the hell they're doing. All right, so if you want to get to half of the 2.5 inches, it's just 1 1/4 inches. So that's right there. I'm going to measure both of those out right now. So you're going to do the same thing. Come to the outside of that mark and to the edge down here. Just at the corner. And if you don't get the outside of that mark, it should be okay. Because even though I said we want it to be perfect, that's relative. Because for me, perfect means, well, we can use that. All right. Okay. Nice. And we just have one more of these to cut. And it's already marked, so that should go quickly. My fingers aren't hurting too bad today. I'd like to play some guitar. I do need to wash my hands really good, like scrub all the paint and stuff out of them, because I do go back to work tomorrow. I need to do some of these fingernails because I'm starting to look like a saber-tooth auditioneer. No, I have not been asked to play saber-tooth. I'm pretty sure it's the beer gut is why they haven't approached me. Now look, I lost the end of my cut right there. And instead of trying to get too fancy, I'm just going to snip it manually. Look at that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to figure out exactly how tall we want that windmill to be on top. And I think I want it to be 4.5 or 5 inches maybe. But I'm going to set it here on my grid to get an idea of what that's going to look like. So looking at the grid, I see that 4 inches is pretty good. So that we have a platform on top to put the window maker on it. So to do that, at this point, I'm just going to come here. I'm going to find the middle. And I'm going to make a mark at 4 inches. And I'm going to make a mistake and cut it off with scissors instead of straight blading it, which is the smart answer. I'm just going to use the bottom here, line that up as close as I can. And you're thinking to yourself, dude, there's a better way to do that. Yeah, there probably is, but I don't know it. And if I do, I can't think of it. I don't have a plan. I'm just down here making some shit, man. Welcome to the shop. Please make shit. And it doesn't always turn out. So, wow. Wow. Don't you worry your ugly little heads. We'll get it. My son thinks that if you have a YouTube channel that you have to have a name of what the people that watch you call you. So I thought about it, and I think that you guys probably should make up your own name. Though I have some suggestions for you. The first one, if it pleases the crowd, if it pleases the court, what about Doom Nation, right? Yeah, I like it. It's very, very good. So there's Doom Nation. That's a front runner, amazing idea. If I say so myself, and I do. I wanted to put those on the inside, and I just put it on the outside like a dumbass. So we want to line that up, make it flush. There we go, something like that. To where that's going to sit there. Push that down. Double check the fit's good. It looks good. And we'll just make a little bead coming down here. And this will add some weight so it's not so top heavy, because if you think about this windmill design, it will likely be top heavy. And then we have a nice edge there, and it should be square in theory. In theory. And we're going to do the same thing. This one goes to the inside. So, same concept. We're going to get this glue here. Here we go. I'm going to eyeball it and get it in place. Make sure everything's flush. And I'm going to glue that down. That one just curved a little bit on that side, so this did not work as good as I'd hoped it would. Get 2 more of those. Now I have no way to work it around to make sure it's right, so we'll have to just freestyle it. And it looked like it was close, and that'll work. Yep, the wood blocks were squaring up. This was a viewer-inspired thingy bomb. And we want that on the inside. So let's get a bead in there and a bead in there. And let's shove this in there and hold it together so it's flush. There we go. Nice. Okay. Now we need a lid for this. And the simple solution to that problem is going to be to get a piece of cardboard. And to make sure everything's square and flush and nice. Oh shit, ran out of glue. Of course I did. And my gun turned off. Okay, just like that. And that way, I can just kind of come along here, make it flush with the end of the building, pull off any glue, just like that. Now we have this beautiful square, perfect box. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way because it'll get annoying quick. All right, so let's get that on the base, and then let's put the planks on it. And like I said, we'll just put the door on it later to stick it on. We want to ideally put it somewhere in that area. Kind of centered. Close enough for government work for sure. And then just to make sure this is sturdy, I'm going to get in there and do that. You don't have to do that, but since I'm going to be putting flock on here, you won't see it anyways. Now, I don't like round or square edges on my terrain, but I don't have a lot of room to play with here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of half-ass snip those off, but I'm putting 100% effort into that half-ass. All right, let's look at these. So we have 3 inchers. We have 2 inchers. So to get these going, I'm just going to get a tiny bit of glue on the bottom here. Okay, just like that. Now I think I might want to leave the back of this open, but I haven't decided yet. I'm just putting a very thin bead of glue here. So I can kind of adjust things. All right. I've decided I do not want to leave the back open, because then I would have had to cut a window into that panel, and I didn't do that. Now I'm going to get this last piece in place, and let's see if we pulled it off. Will this all fit together in a harmonious form? And guess what? It did. So, let's see. Let's pull that one back a little bit. Let's get these 2 flushed up. Nice and square, tight. Just like that. We'll throw a bead of glue in there. And we'll hold that. Oops. We'll hold that and let it cool. Okay, we'll sturdy this up inside here, just with a thin bead on both of the sides. Then we're going to come back and, oh, that popped right off. That's okay. It won't break anything. I'm going to add a little bit more there because that wasn't quite snug. Now there's going to be spider webs living inside this windmill, and I'm going to be thinking about that for the rest of my life. Okay. The spider webs will be living rent-free in the windmill and in my mind. Okay. Flush it up. Hold it. Let it cool. I think that'll do it. I'm gonna need a little bit more back in here. I didn't quite get it to seat. Okay. And that should be forever there now. All right. Turn my gun off again. That wasn't smart or good. Now I'm gonna get my glue. Why is this doing this bad stuff to me? There we go. I'm gonna get my glue. Shit, wrong side. I'm gonna get that inside there like that. And that's gonna sit flush and nice as I hoped it would. And we gotta get some glue in there. All right, we'll let that just sit for a moment and cool. Now there's some spots here where it's not seating sturdily, and I don't think I can get my gun in there, but I'm going to try like hell to. even if I have to let it run down some. Oh, my gun turned off again, son of a bitch. All right. Let's get some spider webs off the outside. And there was just one little spot here where this didn't line up exactly perfect. I'm just going to snip that off. And then we're going to do this. Okay. Now let's cowboy this bad dad up. Now, if you were going to build an obelisk or anything, this would work for it, you know what I mean? But we didn't build an obelisk. We built a windmill. And we need to plank our windmill. All right. It occurred to me that having long ones will make this faster. So what we're going to do real quick to make my life easier is we're just going to take this and make ourselves some longer planks. And I probably won't even plank the back side because I don't see the point. But you guys could if you wanted to spend that time on it. And I think we're getting about that half-hour mark-ish. Maybe we're a little bit past it. If I were to guess, we're probably just past it. So I'm going to cut these last couple planks, and then we're going to come back for a part 2 of the windmill. And yeah, this might take us an hour and a half, maybe close to 2 hours to build. But think how much longer it could have took or how much money you could have spent trying to buy one. And we're making this all out of pretty much free resources so far, though I'm not sure about the windmill part, the blades, or how I'm doing that yet. Last time I built one of these, I don't think it turned. I think the last one I built didn't turn. And then I ended up, when I moved, I was like, this is just too big to take. So this one's much smaller. The last one I made was enormous. But it was also playable. You don't need playable terrain, I'll tell you that now. Or playable buildings. Having a couple is good, but all your buildings don't need to be playable. Alright, so when we come back, we'll continue planking this. Or maybe I'll just plank it. I'll probably just plank it so I can listen to music or something, but you're just going to go, do one full across, and then 2 small ones all the way up, and you're going to cut everything off flush. And when I come back, I'll have this planked up, and we'll start doing the windmill part. Hey, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment, and all the stuff that makes the algorithm gods happy. Oh, wait, we're doing Wild West, so it's the great algorithm spirits. Do all the stuff that makes the great algorithm spirits happy. And until then, I'll see you next time.